Hi, today I want to go over a conditioning workout that you can do that will improve you really any sport if you take the principles from it, but mainly it's more geared to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or some type of striking art such as boxing or kickboxing. So when people think conditioning, they usually just think like fitness or cardio, but conditioning is actually getting your body prepared to perform at perform with great technique in very stressful, even fatiguing situations. All right, so it's not just about like running yourself into the ground, but just making sure that your technique is good when you're tired. Because without that, if you train really hard but your technique is shit as you get tired, guess what? When you go train, when you go fight, when you go roll, when you go spar, like your technique when you spar, when you get tired, guess what's going to be crap. So you need to kind of understand the full picture of conditioning. So this is called a hurricane. I got this from Martin Rooney, who trained a bunch of UFC fighters, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu fighters. Um, he created the Training for Warriors. If you heard of them, basically it is you do 9 sprints, and after each sprint, usually you would do 2 strength exercises. But he has a version more geared towards like fighting fighters, where instead of doing 2 strength exercises, he would go right to some light sparring or some bag work, which is kind of what I took. So I went on the treadmill and I did sprints. So the first 3 rounds I sprinted, I think at like a 10. Next 3 rounds I sprinted at a 11. In the last 3 rounds I sprinted at 10, but I put the incline all the way up to 15. Um, so the goal of that is to get your heart rate as high as you can during that sprint, and then go right. I went right into either bag work or I did some Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu drills on a dummy bag. So I alternate that. And my goal was I wanted to work hard for that extra minute, really push myself, but at the same time, I wanted to push the intensity, but I want to make sure that my technique was good. So if I was practicing like a cross, it looked like a good cross. It wasn't sloppy because my heart rate was so high. Same thing when I did jiu-jitsu drills, or if I did roundhouse kicks. I wanted to go hard for that additional minute, but at the same time, I needed my technique to be good. Now, this will improve my fitness, improve my condition, but it's also going to improve your conditioning under fatiguing like states. Which again, if you have bad technique when you're fatigued, like you don't really have good technique, because when you do a match, when you're live rolling, you're not going to be able to execute that. So that's really important. So we did those 2 things. We did the sprints, 15 to 25 seconds, depending on the round. And that really jacked my heart rate up. So after I sprinted, my heart rate was from like 180 to like 200. I think one round it was like 200, crazy. And then I would run right to either a heavy bag. I would do kickboxing drills for 1 minute hard with good technique, even though my heart rate was really high. And then I recover, I let my heart drop down to like 140, and then I do it again. So I did that 9 times. So that's just a quick conditioning workout that you can do that will both build your aerobic and aerobic fitness, but will also build your conditioning. And remember, conditioning is not just about fitness; it's about being able to deal with the stress in basically a stressful environment. And if you can't do that, like when you get to the mat, when you get to your matches, or even again, you can take this principle with anything. You can take it with football. You can take it with like sparring races. If you don't train things in fatigue states sometimes, or in stressful situations, when you get to that stressful situation, you might have good technique, good strength, good power when things are more relaxed. But when you get to that stressful situation, um, you're screwed. And this happened a ton with people I train for spotting races, where they could do the rope fine, but then when they got to the races, when they were tired, where their arms were pumped up, when they were muddy, when they were wet, they struggled a little bit. Which again, this is why it's important to practice really good technique when you're in a stressful state. That's why doing conditioning rounds where it's just about doing as many reps as you can and just letting form go out the window. Yes, it might get you fitter. It might improve like your cardio, like here, but it doesn't always translate for better performance in your sport or your activity.